The world of seas and rivers. At first, let us begin with the science of seas and rivers. Scientists were astonished when they recently discovered facts that were unknown to anyone before about seas and rivers. Trying to inquire about the junctions of seas, they have found out that the two meeting seas do not absolutely mix with each other as it was thought. In fact, it was found that the mixing extent does not go beyond several meters wide because of the differences between the two seas' densities, temperatures, saltiness degrees, and the living creatures in the two of them. This reason was enough to make it impossible for the two seas to mix completely with each other, except for several meters, creating a parting barrier through which many sea creatures cannot pass, and their inability to cross from one sea to the other is attributed to the fact that they have difficulty in adjusting to the new environmental conditions on the other side of the barrier. 14 centuries ago, the miraculous Holy Quran mentioned this fact in more than one verse, and here we refer to the verse number 19, quoted from the chapter entitled Ar-Rahman, the Most Gracious. He has let free the two bodies of flowing water meeting together. Between them is a barrier which they do not transgress.
مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان.
This Quranic verse is a miracle itself. It describes the scientific facts so accurately and precisely in a way that strikes intellectual minds. It mentions in detail that the two seas do not mix completely, but to a limited extent. And the phrase, the two bodies of flowing water meeting together, is amazing. It presents an elaborate explanation to the fact that the one large sea which is seen by the naked eye, either from remote or from close distances, and either from air, land, or on water, is actually more than one sea. The picture is not like it seems at first sight. The verse mentions that more than one sea can meet together, despite the differences in the geographical areas of Earth, to form one great big sea. People before did not know this information, and the word barrier accurately clarifies that when the two seas meet, a separating bar is formed preventing the two seas from mixing. This plain clarification is stated in another Quranic verse, which is the verse number 61, from the chapter entitled An-Naml, or the ants. Or who has made the earth firm to live in, made rivers in the midst, set thereon mountains immovable, and made a separating bar between the two bodies of flowing water. In addition, the scientists have found out that this phenomenon does not apply only to the meeting saltwater seas, but it also applies to freshwater rivers which meet with saltwater seas. In this case, the shape of the formed barrier is different. The meeting of two seas forms a straight separating bar between them. But when a freshwater river flows into a saltwater sea, a circular round bit is formed to suit the river's flowing force. It is similar to a delta, or what is called hijr in the Arabic language, which is a description to the shape formed when someone holds his dress as a hollow container to put things in. This container is so strong in a way that makes it impossible for the creatures living in it to go out, for the creatures living in the other water body to come in, and for the fresh water to mix with the salt water. So it is described in a Quranic verse as a hijran mahdura, which means a restricted restraint. These details were revealed to Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's blessing and peace be upon him, 14 centuries ago, and this scientific fact is clearly explained in the Quranic verse number 53, quoted from the chapter entitled Al-Furqan, the Criterion. It is He who has let free the two bodies of flowing water, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter. Yet has He made a barrier between them, a partition that is forbidden to be passed.
وهو الذي مرج البحرين هذا عذب فرات وهذا ملح أجاج وجعل بينهما برزخا وحجرا محجورا.
Through analyzing this Quranic verse, we can understand that the phrase let free is an indication to the fact that the two bodies of flowing water are going to meet. The two phrases, one palatable and sweet, and the other salt and bitter, are indicating the river and the sea. Meanwhile, the phrase "a barrier between them" refers to the separation between the two meeting bodies of water. The last phrase, which is "a partition that is forbidden to be passed," gives us a hint of the restraint, which looks like the delta. This restraint is described in the previous Quranic verse by the word "restricted," a word that sums up the process of preventing the two bodies of flowing water from mixing completely and absolutely with each other. Day by day, the scientists' research proved nothing but that the miraculous Holy Quran has a wondrous scientific nature.